corner. He smells blood. Oh, my. Backstrom is amazing.
Thomas Vokoun coming up big. Score! Airless sub in with a bomb.
He's George McVie, noted nice guy. I've already had one guy walk off today's show, so let me start by saying best general manager in the league, first in the conference last season, President's Trophy the year before, end of story.
End of story?
Yeah, well, I didn't talk about the playoffs. This is me trying to get over with you by talking about regular season success.
Yeah.
But you obviously don't look at it that way. You can't, of course.
No, we're here to try and win a cup, and when you don't, it's you feel like in some ways you failed, and you come back and
how tough is it?
Together again.
How tough is it when it happens? I mean, this past year when you got swept by Tampa, to how long do you have to wait before you make decisions? Because obviously, the heat of the moment and the emotion may sway you in a certain direction.
Yeah, you have to get away from that. You need a couple of weeks to sort of decompress and then ruminate through things and figure out, what you have to do to get better. And that's what we all do, whether you win the cup or not, every summer. How do we make this team better?
Right, because, and there was a lot of talk last year. I think, did I hear you mention that if your team got swept or didn't do well in the playoffs, that your job might be in jeopardy? I think I remember you saying that.
I don't think I ever said that.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't volunteer that.
No.
But, I was certainly disappointed because I thought we played real well in the first round. I was concerned about the depth on our blue line going in the second round, and it wasn't good enough. And Tampa played real well and beat us and deserved it.
Are you inspired by the Dallas Mavericks? Because here's a team that had a lot of regular season success and had never gone that final step. And people talked about them saying, well, they're regular season wonders, but can't do it in the postseason. Did you kind of look at that and go, wow?
Well, it's only been 4 years, really,
right.
This group. We got good in a hurry. We sort of put this team together and came out of nowhere, and they were a young group, and now they're sort of heading into their prime, and I think there's still a lot of upside here. So I think we can be good for a while. And
you have been good
that's
for a
the
while.
plan.
I mean, 3 years ago, you were second in the conference. Then you're first in the conference, win the President's Trophy. I mean, and then last year, first in the conference. I mean, that's a pretty good string. But the downside is that expectations become sky high, and anything but a Stanley Cup, people will say, is a failure.
Yeah, it didn't feel like we've accomplished anything, and in fact, we have. Our building's sold out. We have a good team. We're a popular team.
You're on the map too in Washington. I mean,
yes.
Before the lockout, hockey in Washington really was a distant, I don't know, like what would it be, 6th or 7th or whatever, but you guys weren't on the radar then, were you?
No, and it was interesting how things came together. It's the long run we had to make the playoffs the one year where we were in last place at Thanksgiving, and we ended up winning our division and making
That's
the playoffs.
American Thanksgiving, right?
Yes. And the fans in town really sort of took to this little adventure we were on, and they've stayed with us ever since.
How do you describe the play of Ovechkin at this point? And not even so much this year, but if you talk about the graph in a guy's career, improvement, or sometimes you start up here, where's he at? I mean, I don't know how I would answer that question.
Well, I still think he's one of the very best in the game. He's a threat every time he's out there. Can he get 60 goals again? I think that's going to be hard in this league now because the league is so good and so well balanced and getting more defensive as we progress here. But I pencil him in for 40 goals every year, and that's, there aren't many guys that can do that.
Not many. I'm holding in my hand Behind the Moves. This is 34 general managers who took their teams to the Stanley Cup Finals. Everybody that was alive, and you were, of course, one of them. What did you spill in here that people should want to read? What did you talk about that you feel was really from the heart?
I've just had a couple of minutes to flip through it. I just got my copy last week, and
so you don't know what he put in?
I haven't seen it. I
right.
saw one comment where I talked about how, what's beautiful about our game, and just going to practice, in my mind, is a beautiful thing. Just watching the players skate, these really genetically gifted athletes performing out there in a well-run practice. You can hear it, you can watch it, you can feel it. It's a neat thing to watch, and there's so many things to love about the game, and that's one small part of it that I love.
NHLGMs.com, you can check it out. Thanks for doing this undertaking.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.